Intro music.
Overview narration.
Oh, doctor!
My name is James,
And my name is Joey.
and this is the Brothers Padre.
James, week 2 is in the books.
Yay!
James, what? I mean, this is the most baseball week ever, right? This is the most baseball-y of baseball weeks.
We had some of the highest highs and some of the lowest gut punches. This is why people love baseball.
What a crazy game. Let's just jump right into it, James. You and I have talked a lot about, I don't know if you've heard of this, but we actually have an episode out already this week because Joe Musgrove, of course,
Local San Diego legend.
threw a no-hitter. We had to do an emergency podcast. You drove over at 11 o'clock at night and we recorded a podcast. And you loyal listeners showed us a lot of love. Really appreciate it. But James, do you have any thoughts about game 1 where the Padres beat the Texas Rangers 3-0, but that is not relevant because the bigger point is Joe Musgrove threw a no-hitter. And if you want more backstory, please listen to our episode about it.
So there are two things that I'd actually I wrote down to talk about in that inning, but we were just so
We're amped.
excited. I was surprised I was speaking English, honestly. The two things I remember we need to bring up, absolutely have to bring up. He threw a no-hitter on April 9th. Inside Brothers Padre baseball, there are 4 Brothers Padres.
Right.
Joe and I are the second and fourth. The oldest one, our older brother John, it was actually his 40th birthday party.
True.
It was his 40th birthday. So Joe Musgrove gave our older brother the best 40th birthday present ever. And I think that was it.
Thank you, Joe Musgrove.
Thank you, Joe Musgrove.
He read our emails and he threw a no-hitter. Thank
Brothers
you.
Padre, memorable. It was awesome. It was on the top of my notes to mention last episode, but I'm surprised we were even speaking last episode. We were so hyped. I couldn't sleep. Did you sleep afterwards?
How many times did you watch either the game recap, MLB posted the whole 9th inning? I must have watched the whole 9th inning one 3 or 4 times.
So on my personal YouTube channel, all my liked videos, I was at about 1,213 videos I've liked so far out of the years I've had YouTube. I have liked 130 videos all about Joe Musgrove.
That's awesome.
I have rewatched I've listened to our podcast twice now. I
That's awesome.
Everything about Joe Musgrove, all the Union Tribunes, all of the US, anything that anyone did anything on Joe Musgrove, I've liked and rewatched at least twice. It was quite awesome.
It was awesome. And just the outpouring in the community has given Joe Musgrove has been awesome. His parents' coffee shop was blowing up.
That was awesome to see.
Padres commissioned a mural for him at Grossman High. So now Grossman High people walk by, see a mural of Joe Musgrove. It's been an awesome week just from that.
It has been. And this leads to the final point I want to talk about. And again, it was on my notes for last episode. We didn't get to time. Didn't say it. You mentioned the very first Brothers Padre episode. What you liked about us beating the Cardinals was the Padres were killing demons.
Yeah.
And it's important for the Padres to kill and slay our demons of the past. And the Cardinals had been a demon in the playoffs. The Padres getting a no-hitter is probably the biggest demon we've ever had. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
We've been to the World Series twice.
Yeah.
And still haven't hit a no-hitter. Throw a no-hitter.
We know we can beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
There have been seasons where we're a well under 500 team and they're well over a 500 team, but we've won the series with them. We've won more games against them. Jeez. Anyways, so we know we can do that. The no-hitter, 8,200 games we've played without a no-hitter. It has been the monkey on our back forever. Every San Diego knows about it. It's sort of just like it was like the hidden thing we didn't talk about. And that was the biggest demon we could kill. And that, I think, we are a legit team, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a phenomenal year. And Joe Musgrove just gave a little tip to the fans. Hey, look, we're going to do this.
I'll add some notes about game one. Not a crazy offensive game.
No.
This starts a trend that we'll talk about this week. Some people on our lineup are not performing super well.
No.
Tommy Pham this game has hit the crap out of this ball. It jumped out of this guy's glove, and basically, Will Myers was on second and it was scored. Basically, quote an error, a sacrifice double base error.
Yeah.
This is going to be a theme. At this time of the game one, he's hit the ball 368 feet 5 times, and all of them were outs. This was what's I think our very first time in this season. Something to look out for, something to be mildly worried about. Being where we are now, 6 games from that, this is a real trend. So we'll talk about more. Any other thoughts about game one, James? Move to game two.
We've said all we can about, well, not all we can, but enough for now.
Game two, James, also against the Texas Rangers. We beat them 7-4, 7 runs on 14 hits, 2 errors, and the Texas Rangers have 4 runs on 7 hits on 1 error, James. We saw lots of fun stuff. We saw Ha-Sung Kim had his
first
very
first
home run. Before I just, what are your thoughts about it? You have any thoughts about this game, James?
The thing that I wrote down was Chris Paddock, ? Exclamation point. And the reason why...
Is it because he gave up 3 runs in the second inning?
Yes.
Weird. Usually that's a good thing.
It's the consistency and inconsistency. It's just his randomness of being good is just bugging me. I've mentioned this before in the podcast. He is our biggest question mark starter. I don't understand why we're not giving other pitchers opportunities if we're going to just give a question mark at every 5th start. He got the win, obviously. My problem is further down the end of the season where games start to really, really matter. Do we want a question mark in our lineup? If he can't turn around the next 2 starts, I hate to say it, I think he has to go to the bullpen.
His line was 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts.
That's right. He didn't even get the win.
Okay. We need to give up the fact that wins aren't as big of a stat as people make, as pitchers, as old school stats would make it out to be. But you do want the pitcher to go at least 5 innings, right? You just want to get that length.
Yes.
And yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't a good outing for him. He's described himself, it kind of snowballs for him. He gets in his own way and he just can't get past pitches, and he just, big innings happen to him, it seems like. It feels like he never gives up a solo home run and he just gets 3 outs.
Yeah.
It's always like, it's double, here's a triple, here's a single, here's a double.
Bases loaded twice in 1 inning.
You're like, what are we doing? That just seems like that based on this season so far. The Padres had a great bounce back, though. I mean, they were trailing 3-0, got 2 in the 4th, got 1 more in the 5th. Rangers came back, and 7th inning exploded for 3 more runs. It was a very good... This felt like a 2020 Padre game.
Yes,
offense
coming back.
Offense is coming back.
Grisham got his first home run.
That's right. Grisham's first game was this game was the first game.
It was, yeah.
And yeah, just awesome seeing Grish back. Umpires are this series have been so terrible, and they followed us to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been terrible, It's the one other thing I'll note here is Manny Machado was ejected from the game. Manny and the umpire union do not like each other. Umpires unions have only ever publicly came out on Twitter against one person, and that's Manny Machado, which is not cool because players get fined to do that if they do the umpires. So Manny is a passionate player.
Very much so.
He will say some naughty words,
Absolutely.
but he was ejected because he threw the bat and he just said something, and he did not confront him. It just seems to me like, and Manny was getting bad calls, and honestly, this whole series, Padres were getting bad calls. So they ejected Manny Machado, and I think, I don't know if it's really a storyline, but it just shows that umpires are way too powerful and they're really, really thin-skinned.
If I know an umpire's name, they're doing their job wrong.
It's fair.
It's because they should be seen and not heard.
Yep.
If they're doing their job correctly, we should not care who's umpiring. This team and the team, we've had nothing but bad umpire teams all year. And it's true, they've been giving bad calls, and we'll get into it a little bit later on about even some worse calls. It's been really bad. And I think Manny has a right to be upset. I'd be pissed because he was called out several times on pitches that were off the plate. At least 2 ball widths off the plate, he was called out. It was a bad umpire game.
Yep. But Padres get the W in the new stadium in Arlington, across the street from the old stadium in Arlington, which is still up and not being used. Texas, everything.
Relevant information, Joseph.
Very relevant.
These are why hard-hitting.
This is why people subscribe. People subscribe for those kind of facts.
Yeah, exactly. Hard commentary like that. All right.
Listen, most people want to know within the zip code how many major league stadiums are in them. And that's the facts that I bring to this show, James.
Yes.
I bring them.
You don't get that anywhere else. This is true.
Game 3, Jamesy. The San Diego Padres versus the Texas Rangers. The San Diego Padres defeated the Law Authority in Texas 2-0 on 5 hits and no errors. And also, that's the same thing Texas Rangers had. 5 hits and no errors. James, any thoughts about the third game of this past week?
We saw Ha-Seong Kim at third base.
Yes.
Manny Machado was a DH for this game. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a bad position this guy can play in the infield. He is a solid infielder in any position you put him in.
Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah, Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah, and as we talked about previously, off air, very handsome.
Yeah.
Incredibly handsome.
Yeah.
I feel like he flips off his hat on purpose. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Look at my perfect hair. Look at it.
Do you think that he has, like, Head and Shoulders are just, like, chomping at the bit, being just, like, sending him endorsement deals?
The fact that he is not the lead singer of a Korean pop star group makes me question Korean's pop star groups organizers.
He definitely should be.
He should be.
Very attractive.
I think he might be because I don't know that much about Korean pop music.
True.
I do know they kind of suck and they don't sound very well.
How dare you? How dare you insult BTS like that? I'm relevant, James. I know who BTS is.
Okay, fine.
I
don't like pop music in any country.
Starting from the top, James, we have to talk about the big one. The starting pitcher, Adrian Morejon, pitched 0.2 innings, 1 walk and 1 strikeout.
And for those of you that don't understand what that means, that's bad.
He wasn't an opener, James. We probably don't have openers yet this season. So that means he left with left forearm tightness, which, if you're not following baseball, means he's not doing well as a pitcher. It means that he could potentially be out for as little as a week or as much as 18 months.
Yeah.
Most often the 18-month part. Less often the 1 week part.
Yeah, and everyone, because his last pitch was 97 miles an hour, and they took him out. He felt some tightness and sore. That he was definitely It just sucks because he legitimately is a great kid. His stuff is electric. He's one of those type of people that can throw his fastball, has so much movement. He can tell the hitter he's going to throw it, and it has so much movement they won't hit it.
It's a big blow because as we move along in this week, James, we find out that depth is important in pitching.
Yes.
And we definitely need it. And so what happened turned into a bullpen game, James. We used 7 pitchers this game. After Morejon left, Craig, the 10-year service time Stammen, came in. That's right. Craig Stammen is now eligible for MLB pension. That's right. Another thing why they come to our podcast. Hard-hitting facts like that, James.
An MLB pension. All right.
But Craig Stammen holds it down. 3.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Old man strength, the 10-year pension strength. That's awesome.
And for those of you that are longtime listeners, we were throwing a little shade Stammen's way a couple podcasts ago, wondering what his worth in the bullpen. I would like to humbly apologize to you, Mr. Craig Stammen. We were wrong. You are an athlete. We're 2 30-something men that have never thrown a ball competitively in our life.
Yeah.
You earned your paycheck. You earned your pension. You, sir, tip of the hat. Deserve to be on a Major League Baseball team. Deserve to be in a championship. You are a great pitcher.
Craig Stammen came in. Taylor Williams followed Tim Hill. Shout out Palomar College. Austin Adams. Emilio Pagan. And finished the night, of course, our closer, Mark Melanson. And he shut down game. And Grisham stays hot as follows up his first home run game with his second home run game.
Although he can follow off a first home run game, a second home run game.
And Manny, the best player on our team currently, Machado, also hit a home run. All in all, a good classic ball game. There tends to be a theme, though, James. Did you realize game 1 and 3, was there something weird about 1 and 3?
Not a lot of scoring.
Not a lot of scoring, James.
No.
So,
some hot batters, some very cold batters.
And that's very true, James. In game 4, James, we swept the Texas Rangers. It's time to go north and east a little bit. Is Pennsylvania right above Texas? Not right above. See, this is where my geography.
You know where all the empty stadiums are, the pension rules, but you don't know geography, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyways, I know they moved north and east, but how east? I don't know. They went northeast somewhere. And they landed near the Allegheny River, of course, James, that being the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium of PNC Park. And there's Monday to Thursday, a 4-game series. And what do we do the first game, James?
We win, Joseph, for a 4 straight win in a row.
We beat them 6-2, 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 2 runs on 6 hits, and 0 errors for the Pittsburgh Pirates, James. Anything cool about that game that you remember that you wish to talk about, James?
Darvish looks sharp.
Darvish is a stud.
Darvish was the standout of that game. Myers looked good.
Yeah, I mean,
it was,
Myers looked good as a little bit of an understatement, but
yeah. 5 RBIs. Not one of the struggling hitters, which is, hold on, we'll talk about it. He's one of the hottest hitters in our team. Drove in all 5 of the runs. Phenomenal. Darvish, this is Darvish the stud. That's all I can say.
Darvish saw us take 7 pitchers, and he gave us 7 innings back.
Yes.
7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Not a huge swing and miss day, but he's a veteran, dude. He's a grizzled vet. He's a grizzled, excellent vet, so he got the outs in the infield. And, yeah, he held it down, got 7 innings pitch, followed by Austin Adams. And then Kiana Kellogg returns home from Pittsburgh, James, and closed the game out for the San Diego Padres. Yeah, Darvish and Myers is a standout, obviously. Myers, first single of the game, he hit the ball twice on his bat, which is something you don't see very often. that was pretty fun. Homer's the dead center, 421 feet. Caratini, who Darvish came over in his trade, also doubled the deep center. Tommy Pham scored as well. Yeah, I think it's just another one of those games like, oh, we have really, really deep talent, and we took really advantage of when we should have.
Absolutely.
4 games in a row of straight W's, James. We're feeling good. Any other thoughts about the game before we move on to a game that happened?
No, that was the kind of a Padre games we were expecting to see a lot of and should still see a lot of this year.
And unfortunately, James, the game of baseball is a cruel game.
I was going to say cruel, mistress.
It isn't exactly known to be consistent and or linear, because you have games like the 5th game of this week where the San Diego Padres lost 4-8, 4 runs on 6 hits off 2 errors. The Pittsburgh Pirates had 8 runs on 12 hits on 1 error. And that, ladies and gentlemen, does not seem like a blowout loss. It felt like 100-1.
It really did.
This game, this is the ugliest. I'm going to call the modern era of Padre, like the new era of Padre game, one of the ugliest Padre games I've seen.
Yeah,
this new era.
Absolutely. It was gut wrenching because in years past where we've had bad teams, like people forget, there was a time where we had a player named Will Venable. Who was he? Doesn't matter. But he was our best player, and he was our greatest offensive hitter, and he was hitting a 240.
You're so rude to Will Venable.
I liked Will Venable. He was a nice guy.
I'm sure you did.
I'm pretty sure he's a nice person and good to his pets. But
we don't know that. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wow.
Will. Just kidding.
Wow.
Will. Just
okay,
kidding.
now who's rude to Will
Just
Venable?
kidding, Will. Come
we
on
love
podcast.
you. Come on our podcast. Anyway, so this felt like a game where we had just nobody up.
Someone said it felt like the Navy and Blue Padres again.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Shoot.
It was just...
We got to talk about why. So the first inning, it's Blake Snell's game. Blake Snell gets 2 outs and then just couldn't get on the same page. He starts throwing wide. He starts spiking, breaking pitches, hitting people. It just was starting to get very ugly.
He got upset with the catcher, and he even said this. He got upset with the catcher because they couldn't get their signal straight, and he just got really upset and started yanking pitches. It's 100% on Snell. He took... I will respect him forever for this. He got up on the press conference and said, "Look, it's my fault. Today was my loss, 100%. I got upset. I shouldn't be this way," and he's going to work on it. It was so ugly.
He 0.2 innings pitched, so it means he didn't even finish the first inning.
And also, you can't just blame it on Snell either, because yes, he the first couple runs were all his fault. The Padres were walked 13 times.
I mean, we'll get there, James. We'll get there. So the pitching line is 0.2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs, 300 runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout for Snell. Did not finish the game. Gregory Stammen. Is Gregory a real name? Anyways, he should have a full name. Have we talked about full names?
Just go, continue.
Craig Stammen.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
0.1 innings pitch. He got the job done.
He got the job done.
That's what he does. He gets the job done.
He gets the job done. We love you, Craig Stammen.
That's why he has 10 years of service time.
Yeah. You earned that pension.
Nabil Krismat, the sacrificial lamb, decides to pitch for 5 innings because, as previously discussed, our bullpen was already very taxed.
Yes, they were.
So, Nabil Krismat, spring training standout, got his job on the major league roster, how good he did, then decides to twirl 5 innings pitch, 8 hits, 4 runs, 5 strikeouts. But that's not his job is not normally to do this. So he took one for the team, literally, and he just was like, fine, I'll give you innings, which was, we needed someone. These kind of baseball games happen. You need someone to just, you need to give me some, you need to give X number of innings, and give me as much as you can. And Nabil did it. Because James, and I'll finish up the line actually, Taylor Williams, 1.2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Emilio Pagan came on for a weird 1 out stint. I don't know about that. We talked about that at the game. It was weird to bring him in just for 1 out.
Yeah, no, what was weird is that Williams and Christmas clearly didn't have it today, and none of the Pittsburgh Pirates had it. Everyone was missing.
Dude, this game.
It was. I think the grounds crew probably ran over a Wizards familiar or something, and they were cursed. Everybody was cursed. Nobody could hit the strike zone.
Well, I mean,
the Pirates.
We might as well talk about it now.
But I'm saying, like, Emilio Pagan came on and went, "Hey, look, this is what a major league pitcher looks like," and struck out his guy.
The Padres allowed 7 walks. Wait, sorry, 4 walks. Okay.
Yes.
Every one of them I felt scored. I don't know the stat. They all. I'm gonna, for the sake of my heart, I'm gonna say they all scored. The Pirates allowed 13 walks. Both pitching staff. You know the Spider-Man pointing meme. You know, like it was like, who can pitch a worse game? They're like, who?
Yeah.
It was it. The Pirates. We joked during the game, is like, throw a strike challenge. Anybody, someone throw a strike. James.
It was so brutal. And the thing is, like, we were getting hits.
Yeah.
Machado got some hits. Cronenworth got some hits. We left the bases loaded. What was it? 4 times?
To end innings.
We left end of innings 4 times. 16 men left on base. Every time it got to the bottom of the lineup, the bases were loaded, and there was a double play to end the inning. It was a joke, and 3 of those times was Pham.
I think it was 2 Pham, 1 Profar, and 1 Camposano. So they conveniently also are that part of the lineup, right?
But Pham also grounded to a double play when there was just 2 men on base. Not so twice bases loaded, once 2 men on.
It was like, it felt like, and it felt like it was like a Freaky Friday situation where we took the 2014 Padres or 2017 Padres and took half the lineup and put it at the bottom, but put the 2020 Padres on top. So we always got people on base, but then the people at the bottom were like, I don't know how to use this thing.
I know, right? It was one of the worst games I've ever seen. We texted, like, it literally was like, where's launch angle? I thought that was the whole thing about launch angle, and we just grounded double plays. The Pirates pitchers were not having it. They just weren't having it. They walked us 13 times. Yeah, if you look at the score, if you look at that number, the Padres, the Pittsburgh pitchers did worse jobs than the San Diego pitchers did. But our hitters just couldn't capitalize. We had so many opportunities.
We could have had 3 sacrifice flies, and this is a different ball game.
Exactly. This was the ugliest game I've seen in a very long time. And it made it uglier because the Padres are better than this. Our offense needs to get it together. A sacrifice frickin' bunt, a drag bunt, something.
I texted you and I said, I feel like it was the 3rd time the bases were loaded, and I think I said, like, honestly, a bunt play makes more sense here. Yeah. 'Cause we're just not doing it. And sure enough, of course, ground double play. It just always happened. It made it uglier too. James Myers left the game. Turned out he has knee tendonitis.
That was that. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the heartbreak about Myers hitting 5 RBIs. He's
and his replacement, Jorge Mateo, good fielder, comes in the game and gets hit twice. James.
Exactly. He did his job to load the bases by getting hit. Like Pham, Kim, lean into one, take one for the team, and walk them in.
Got hit twice. There's beef between the Pirates and Padres, and because one guy got hit twice.
Yeah,
as mentioned 15 seconds ago.
Exactly.
And there was a lot of jawing. Daddy Hosmer yelling at the Pirates. Kyle Crick, one of the bad pitchers for the Pirates, but his line looks good because the Padres can't do anything with Pirates pitching. It was rough. It was a
rough game, and it was just so. The most frustrating thing about it is I've seen worse performances by the San Diego Padres.
Oh yeah,
but never with, I mean, ideally, if careers keep going, 3 future Hall of Famers in the lineup.
Yeah,
like
it's frustrating to me because we just talked about how Pham was just hitting big sacrifice flies, like just bombing them into the outfield. They're outs. But this game, he's just grounding them. He just hitting straight into the ground, saying Profar, and it was just so frustrating. There was no big hit. There was no.
Not to tap myself on the back here, but I do remember saying it when we talked about Pham last recap episode. Pham is being very unlucky right now, and hopefully it doesn't turn over. Sometimes you see hitters with bad luck, and all of a sudden they just start slumping even hardcore, and that's what's happening to Pham right now. And the game was a nightmare, and I think obviously the blame goes to Snell on the last 4 batters in our lineup.
Yeah, that's kind of it, and it was rough, but I think the process is right. You always want to be a team that has the opportunity to score runs. So most players left that game thinking I did exactly what I needed to do.
Oh yeah,
like you took pitches. Like you just If you look at the stat lines for offense, Trent Grisham 4 at bats, 3 runs, 2 walks, 1 hit.
That's great. Yeah.
Just Cronenworth 5 at bats, 2 hits. Machado 3 at bats, 2 walks, 1 hit. Hosmer 3 at bats, 1 RBI, 2 walks. And you just think about Myers Mateo's spot. They both walked. They were on base 3 times between the two. Myers got 1 out. Like those guys gave opportunity. They passed the baton, and then when it came to Pham, Profar, and Campusano, it was rough. Profar got 1 hit RBI. And that's about it. And it's just not good.
No, it's not.
But let's leave that behind because I don't want to think about that game ever again.
Correct.
To game 6. It's a new day, James. And what do the San Diego Padres do? They lose again.
We lose again.
To the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates 5 runs on 9 hits on no errors, and San Diego Padres 1 run on 6 hits. Also with no errors. And this one was a much closer game than the box score entailed. The Pirates got a run in the 2nd, and in the 5th, Joe Musgrove returns home, only allowing 2 runs on 5 innings. Padres get 1 run back via Tommy Pham's single for Manny Machado, who was in scoring position. Tommy Pham looking good at this point. Tommy Pham at least producing, and then it just kind of unwound. The 8th, Austin Adams comes in and just doesn't have his stuff. They're picking up his slider like crazy, and they're just driving the ball.
Austin Adams they sent down Chrismet because I think we just his arm was dead after the sacrifice he gave us, and then we called up Adams first time into the game after an injury, and it looked like they probably should have given him another day in the bullpen.
Another big bullpen. I'm sorry, I was mistaken. Joe Musgrove had 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. He allowed 1 big home run. He wasn't particularly sharp, but he got the outs out when he needed to. The Pittsburgh Pirates, I will say one thing they do: they can foul off a bunch of pitches. They're not an effective team.
No, they're a pesky.
The Rangers were. I think if looking back at our preview, I would have thought the Pirates were going to be worse team offensively. I think that's still true, but I didn't take into account that Pirates, the hitters, they're good at battling. They at least battle. At least they give an effort. Where I think the Rangers were just not really that.
No, I think the difference is it's obvious that the Rangers are a long ball team. They look for the fastball. Right. And that's their whole purpose. Drive the fastball. That's why Mark Grant said several times, I don't think the Rangers can hit an off-speed pitch. They can't hit anything that moves. The Pirates are, in fact, a good, pesky little foul ball off team. The difference is they're both terrible teams. The Padres should not have lost a single game to any of these teams. And the thing that really frustrates me is the Pirates have a worse pitching than the Rangers do.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen
Just we didn't say it, but last game, like the game before, we should have won the game. The game with it went 8-4. We should have won that 12-2.
Yeah,
like we should have easily won that game.
We should have easily won that game. They walked us 13 times.
I know we're on the next game, but it's
that
still...
game was not a victory by the Pirates. It was a loss by the Padres.
Yeah.
That was a terrible game.
And
the Pirate pitching is probably the worst staff I've in this young season have seen. We not deserve, obviously. We should have won.
Yeah.
The Padres didn't deserve anything in the last 2 games.
And the rest of we had another big bullpen-ish game. Pierce Johnson comes in, allows a run. Tim Hill comes in. Keller comes back. Austin Adams, who gives up the 3 runs. And then Dan Altavilla gets 1 out in the 8th.
All in all, it was a good game following a no-hitter. He did
Musgrove?
Musgrove. He did a good job. I would like to see him.
He didn't have a long leash. That was already like inferred. Like he can't pitch that much anyway.
Yeah. He clearly had an 85 pitch count. I
Right.
think he threw 86 pitches.
It still felt like a winnable game. We were only walked 3 times, so opportunity was not as high. But we're good offense. Probably should have teed off more. Yeah, I don't know. I actually come to think about if I lost this game, I've been okay with it because Anderson did shove. Anderson was doing what he needed to do. He got the outs when he needed to. Expose our aggressive guys. This felt like we predicted 6-1. This road trip, it won't be that. But if we lost this one, it'd been okay.
This felt like they earned the loss.
Right.
We not they earned the loss. The Pirates earned the victory.
Yep.
We definitely earned the loss the game before.
Yeah, for sure. But James, to cap it off, the final game of the road trip.
Start at 9:30 this morning.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't 9:30 there, but it was 9:30 here. So we wake up bright and early, and we start watching Padres baseball. Not that bright, not that early, but the Padres beat the Pirates 8-3 off 10 hits and 1 errors, and the Pirates had 3 runs, 8 hits and 1 error. James, this was a good palate cleanser game.
It was. Offense looked good. Machado hit a home run.
Yep.
The umpires were still trash. Probably I had an apology to Barrett when I said a couple that was the worst game I saw a lot previous. This is the worst umpire I've ever seen.
There was pitches like Paddock threw a curveball that was a good 6 inches below the plate that gets called. Tim Hill throws down the middle, doesn't get a strike called. It was just very inconsistent and wild, and that's just not what you want. The strike zone isn't made of Swiss cheese, James. It's a solid block.
I get it, Joe.
No holes. You get
Everyone gets the
You
metaphor.
see the Swiss, the block is
metaphor
solid.
is done.
There's no hole. Okay,
You've killed it.
Christopher Paddock, James, came in to pitch. The big question mark of rotation, as previously discussed in this episode. He comes in, 5 innings pitch, 5 hits, 3 runs on 1 earned run, and then has 4 strikeouts. The Padres helped him out a lot, I think.
We did, yes.
Because the first inning, we have the biggest offensive inning this year with 4 runs. As you said, Manny Machado hits a home run. Cronenworth doubles to score Grisham. Before that, Marcano doubles for Hosmer, bring Hosmer in. It was just it was like, oh, this is the Padres. This is fun. I'm having fun.
Look, we are good.
So 4 runs in the first, and then we come back to get 2 more runs in the second. Hosmer singles, scoring Profar and Cronenworth. It just felt like, oh, this is what we think the team is, right? What we believe the level of our training is, so to speak, right? And and then Chris Paddock, second inning, gives up a run, and then it just seemed like that inning 2 was it felt like a start of a normal Chris Paddock spiral inning.
Yes.
Had people on base, high pitch count through 31 pitches in the second inning. Not good. Not good
It's
at
the
all.
inconsistency.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like he looks like a star 1 inning, and then all of a sudden they get 3 runs. the next. In
the third inning and fourth inning, relatively shut down innings. In the fifth inning, he runs into trouble again. Now, he should have got out with no. The reason why there's only 1 earned and 3 runs is good. He makes the hitter rather line out. Marcano, young kid, who literally was an infielder, put in the outfield, botches the ball, catchable ball, doesn't catch it, 2 runs scored. It's a bummer, but the Padres are up by 7 runs at that point, so it worked out okay. Padres come back 1 more run, finishing the game at 8-3. Any more thoughts about that final palate cleanser game, James?
I like that the fact the Padres offense were finally swinging good bats. Mm-hmm. It was really good to give Paddock a W, although they took him out in the 4th, so I don't think he obviously won't get the W. Did they take him out in the 4th?
No, he finished the 5th.
Oh, okay, he finished the 5th. All right, sorry.
Which is exactly what they wanted him. I forgot the pitching line. 5 innings pitch for Paddock, 1 inning pitch for, the legend of Comet Circle?
Yeah.
Tim Hill?
Tim Hill, please come on our podcast. We have so many Palomar questions for you.
And then the star of this episode, Craig Stammen, of course, comes in for 3 innings pitch. Shuts it down, James.
Shuts it down. What a stud. Anyways, so I the first and the 4th game of the series looked like the Padres we were supposed to have.
Yeah.
It was a good, hey, look, let's shake this off. Let's split the series with the Padres. If we would have lost this series,
it would have been rough.
It would have been rough. I think I'd have been demoralized. But splitting the series is fine. Finishing a road trip 5-2, you'll take that every week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you can finish every 7 games 5-2,
you're going to do fine.
You're going to be that's next level greatness.
That'll play. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just it was so good. The bouncing back, we are a good team. We do have pro hitters. We do have stars. Machado taking it on himself to be like, look,
Machado looks awesome.
Machado, yeah. Just Machado level.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think sometimes because he plays with such ease and such. You said this the other day. He's the most one of the most natural players, one of the most feel players you can just see. You just see that he has this high level of athleticism that doesn't come off as like, oh, this guy is like panting and going crazy. He just has an incredible feel. Like the homer he had today was very obvious. He was just fouling off pitches. Like, you're going to give me a pitch I want.
Yeah.
And he got it and he hit a home run. That's how good Machado is. And it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. I'm just happy that we won this. It looks like, okay, it's a good game to get this bats woken up to lead into the next series.
And James, I think it's an interesting set of games to go into the next set of games because we're facing
the dastardly Dodgers.
The dastardly Dodgers for the next 3 games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here at Petco Park. And then comes the sneaky Brewers because the Brewers have 2 of the best pitchers in baseball right now, Mr. Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. And they'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think that if you're a good team, you take out bad teams. That's just the way it is, right?
Yes. And
the 2 losses against the Pirates showed if you don't take advantage of big moments, then you just kind of lose games. And that's the difference between good teams and bad teams. And we're going to face the Dodgers. Dodgers have realigned their rotation, James. Their 1, 2, and 3 are going to face us. Jerks. Even though we're not rivals, James. Don't think about it. We're not rivals.
They did not get threatened by us at all during the offseason. They said that several times. Really? Yeah. Then why did you have some no-name pitch and then you realigned your starting rotation?
So we're facing Kershaw, Buehler, and Bauer. And we will be facing not rearranging our schedule rotation because it's a long season, James.
Yes.
So we'll have Weathers, who will be pitching on Friday because Morejon is down.
Our son.
The unofficial mascot of the Brothers Padre, and he'll be pitching against the Dodgers. And I don't know if you remember this. Last time he pitched against the Dodgers was the first time he ever pitched in the major leagues, and it was in the playoffs.
I know. Instant legend. Where's the statue?
And he did very well. So it'll be fun to see. And on Saturday, we'll get back on the top, Darvish and Snell. Should be fun. And then against the Brewers, obviously, we'll keep going down to... I would assume that if Weathers does well, as long as, the Nelson Lamet isn't ready to come back, which would be awesome. I think we'll probably see Weathers twice. I think Morejon's gone for a while.
Yeah.
Sadly. I just don't think he's coming back soon.
I think Weathers would do the Brothers Padre proud.
Yeah.
He knows us.
Yeah.
Although, can I just say something? The fact that the Dodgers changed their rotation for this thing, I think we're already coming in with a win.
Yeah.
We didn't do it. They did. Yeah. They're admitting that they want to show that they're better than us.
Yeah.
We just want to be a competitive team against them. The fact that they're changing their pitching rotation to fight us shows that they legitimately fear us, and that's a win in my book.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long series. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think this is the real one of the first real tests because we faced them. We're gonna face them 2 weekends in a row. One at home, one at Dodger Stadium.
And Tatis might be coming back on Friday. And if he comes back 100%, we're gonna be good. But again, we're not doctors.
If he comes back and he swings and his arm falls off, I'm gonna be very mad.
Yes,
I'm gonna be very, very mad. There's no way I'm not going to be mad.
Flames.
It better not be like Clevenger.
Out of your head.
It better not be like the Clevenger situation in the playoffs, right? Clevenger comes back for one inning and is like, oh, he can't pitch anymore. Like, oh, yeah. Cool. That's cool.
He's out for a
cool,
year.
Cool. That's fine. We don't need starting pitchers in playoffs games.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hey, but we got to see our son.
It's true.
Weathers got his first pitch, so, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting next. Obviously, the Dodgers series. I would like to take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I guess
it's unrealistic to think.
What do you think over the next 6 games? What do you think is going to happen? So let's just do the homestand next.
Because the Brewers have such a good pitching staff, I think we split it 3-3.
We're playing 3 against the Brewers.
I know we're playing the next 6 games.
Yeah.
You
want to be 3-3?
I think we're going to be. I want to be 4-3. 4-3 is what I want to be.
I'm not counting the 7th game. I'm counting only 6 games.
I know.
Yeah.
Because there's no Thursday game that game.
No, there's a Thursday game. We play We go to LA. Oh,
okay, yeah.
I'm not counting that because I think Inside Padre Base, Brothers Padre, we'll probably record before that one.
Okay. So the next 6 games. Again, I think because the Brewers are so good, I think we're going to lose at least 1 to the Brewers or 2 to the Brewers. I think the Padres will kick it up for the Dodgers. I think realistically we will take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. It's unrealistic to think that we'll sweep them. So yeah, I think we'll probably lose 1 to the Dodgers, 2 to the Brewers. But again, that's just because That's just because the last couple games have shook me a little bit about our offense capability. If we step it up with the Dodgers, so that we know we could, we'll take 2 out of 3 of the Dodgers and 2 out of 3 of the Brewers. So, 4-2 would be ideal. That's what I want. That's what we should strive for 4-2.
If Tatis comes back and he's full powers, it's 4-2 easily.
Yeah,
I think if he comes back and he's Fernando Tatis Jr., the guy that is electric on
the guy that's in front of the major league on all the magazines and video games,
right? That guy is 4-2. If he doesn't come back, I think the 3-3 is realistic because the Dodgers are so deep and they're so good, and the Brewers. And I don't know if we see Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, it's going to be a tough time for us. It's going to be a real tough time. But Padres are also a good team, and we have the capability to do it. We just need to have the good at bats cannot stop with the fifth and sixth person in our lineup.
No, exactly.
They have to keep going all the way to the eighth. And even the pitchers have to write down good bunts. Like, it has to be, because the Dodgers are giving great at bats up and down the lineup, and we need to do the same. We can't have there be a black hole on the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter. We just can't, right? Because Dodgers aren't giving us that luxury. Like,
No.
as the CEO of the Padres said, if we're going to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Exactly.
And that's the way it's got to be.
And that's what we're geared for. So I think we're charging for this season, this episode, this series. And I think we're going to step up. I think we're going to take 2. It just, again, we cannot have, after the 5, 6, 7, 8 have to produce. They have to.
Yep. But if Myers is back, if Tatis is back, if Weathers does well, I don't know, man. I think it was a very good chance. But we have to make good at bats, and play
I
great baseball.
legitimately think we're going to win tomorrow, because yes, Kershaw, greatest pitcher, whatever. Anyways, Machado hits him like nobody else. Mm-hmm. Grisham hits him. There are a few. Myers hits him. There are a few Padres that hit him very well, and yeah, that's what I think.
I think it's also the Dodgers have a super light schedule, and in theory, this is probably their toughest challenge yet.
This is both of our toughest challenges.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see it, man. I'm excited. Exciting stuff, because this is what baseball's all about, right? You have to play the best. You have to compete at the high level.
This weekend series is what the Padres have built their team around,
right,
to prove that we are better than the Dodgers.
Yep. Exciting stuff, James. Any other parting words for our loyal listeners and fans and the adoring masses?
Keep up the faith. The Padres are real. Do not be discouraged by this week. Again, we're 5-2.
Listen, if we lost today, though, you'd be discouraged.
I would be discouraged. I would be discouraged.
You would have a different tone.
Yes,
man.
we last 7 games were 5-2.
Yeah,
you'll take that every week. If we're 5-2 next week,
we'll take it.
We'll take it. That's nobody is sad about 5-2. It's just the 2 mark were so just terrible. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yep. Exciting stuff, James. And that's it, James. Remember to like us, subscribe on YouTube, click the bell.
Hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell.
We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. If you like us, reach out to us. We're on Twitter @BrothersPadre. We have an email address, so go find it. Give us an email. We want to grow, James.
We do.
Let us know what you're thinking. We might even add an extra episode every week, James.
We're thinking about yes.
And yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. Please remember to thank you so much for your listens, and we'll be back next week.
Have a good day.
And there it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!